Happy Monday, everybody. We are live with another amazing video with the capital mindset, and we are so excited to kick off another amazing week in crypto. And there's lots to talk about. We had such an amazing week last week. We're going live for Binance too as we speak. So just setting that up for them over there. All right. So yeah, it was an amazing week. Friday, we had such a stream. I mean, wow, there were so many gems, and Trip went through so many strategies and details on, charts that we don't normally share outside the group. We went through just a small tip of the iceberg, freebies here on the channel, and you guys are loving it, and we loved having you, and it was an amazing crowd. We also gave away a free month to the Capital Mindset trading group, so we'll be doing that off and on, so stay tuned for the next giveaway. Our 20% off sale did end already, but we will have it back at some point. Right now, you can sign up. The link is in the description below for 10% off to the Capital Mindset Trading Group as we're gearing up for this next explosive wave up. And the title of this video for this Monday afternoon actually is, can ETH make it to 15,000 this cycle? And if so, let's see how that's going to work. Where, if you haven't bought ETH already, where would be, maybe the time to get in as we're looking at in the charts? Where's the best entry point if you're still sitting on the sidelines? And if you already hold ETH, will it make it to $15,000 this cycle as Tom Lee predicts? So we're going to go over what his prediction is and why. But first off, I did a video on this. I've been bullish on ETH. Something about this channel that I love is that we don't really flip-flop. Obviously, you've got to look at the charts and go with what the charts say and pivot. But I've been bullish on ETH the whole cycle, when a lot of people were saying that, it was massively underperforming. It was dead. It is one of the most important financial layers of the internet. So for me, it's always been, a staple, and I always thought that it was going to come through, and I made a video about that, sub $2,000, and here we are again, almost at $4,000, and telling you the same thing. Ethereum's going to have an incredible run this cycle, so we're going to have a look at that. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin, what Bitcoin's doing, what could possibly be the next move, and what's happening with altcoins. So stay tuned for that. And also, we're going to go over BNB, Sol, Ethereum, and some of your requests. So yeah, let us know where you're tuning in from, what you're feeling this Monday afternoon, night, depending where you are in the world, and just let us know you're here. We want to kick off this week with a ton of energy. And with that said, I'm just going to get into the news, guys, because there's lots to look at. But first, I always have to put things into perspective. So I'm going to pop this up here. Peter Schiff, this is from 2019. Keep dreaming. Bitcoin is never going to hit $100,000. So his next tweet's going to be, keep dreaming. Bitcoin is never going to hit $1 million, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. So this is where we're at, guys. I mean, what is this? Like, several years later, we're already at 100,000, and 100,000 is now the new norm. Isn't that wild? I mean, for all of you who have been in this for a while, just cheers to you for sticking it through, having the conviction. You're so well positioned in this space, and we want to make sure that you can capture this opportunity of a lifetime this cycle as we come into this next inning, which is set to be a very explosive inning indeed. What's up, Megan? Hi, I'll miss the last couple lives due to kid stuff. Hey, it happens, but you're back. You've got to check out Friday's stream. That was such a gem. I mean, it was like a masterclass. So check it out when you have time, because we went over trading strategies, what we're looking for in the markets. We did a giveaway. It was a lot of fun. So Chris, welcome to the chat. Christina, what's up? Welcome, guys. Welcome. We're just kicking off this Monday with a lot of energy, and we all want to know what's happening with Bitcoin. And the title of this video is, can ETH hit 15,000? And if so, what would the impact be on the altcoin market? So let's keep going as we're letting more people jump in. Hi from Essex. Oh, Neil. Oh, wow. I just talked about Essex with one of my best friends who is British. And so there's a reality show, something to do with like Desperate Housewives from Essex. I don't know. It's maybe I'm totally wrong, but it's a reality show. And so all the Essex guys come here to Marbella, and they all love ATH vodka because, it's based there. So anyway, yeah, fun story. I don't know if you know all those guys, but welcome, Neil. Welcome to the chat. So yeah, Happy to have you guys here. I'm just going to get into the next thing, which is just like another topic that this might seem insane, but I just wanted to put this out there. Is it's like, I'm mad teachers told us if you don't do well in school, you're going to be the garbage man, and never told us the garbage man made more than them. So the key here is that like, I don't like trade my university experience for anything. I think it was fundamental foundation of my life. But the one thing they don't teach you is about money. They don't teach you about investing. They don't teach you about real businesses. They don't teach you about how those things actually work in real life. Mainly, they teach you skills that, you know, I don't want to get into that because I don't want to discount it, but also they don't teach you those real world skills that can really truly help you be free, in my opinion. So I thought this was interesting. And that's what we're all doing here in the crypto world is we're learning about finance. Financial literacy is going to go up because people are going to learn new things and new skills and tools, like getting a Bitcoin backed loan, right? A tax-free loan because you're leveraging your asset without selling that underlying asset and using that money to invest in something else. These are skills that we don't learn in school, right? So Zach, what up? What up? How you doing? We're going to get into some trades here in a minute. We're just going over a few news pieces here. And just also what we just had was that President Trump just signed into existence the Genius Act, which was massive for the market. It was a sort of semi sell-off, sell the news event, but sort of bounced. We're still, the charts are basically dictating what's happening in the news. It's just noise, but it was a monumental event. Okay. And so right after that, President Trump bought $2 million worth of Bitcoin for its treasury. MicroStrategy just bought a ton Bitcoin more. I mean, this atmosphere couldn't be more bullish right now. And we even have President Trump tweeting about this. I mean, this happened a long time ago, but he tweeted about this now. And don't forget, when these posts go out, mainstream sees it, right? So they get to see this definition of what Bitcoin is. So this is what he put up here.
Now, why is it revolutionary?
So I'm going to go to the beginning, just a few seconds, right?
Bitcoin is the world's first cryptocurrency, and it works because of the world's first public blockchain network. What does Bitcoin do? It's simple. It lets you send and receive value to and from anyone in the world using nothing more than a computer and an internet connection.
Boom. Okay, I'm just going to stop it there. Simply put, and he's calling this the greatest Bitcoin explanation of all time. He's just trying to get this out there to the masses because he wants this to be sort of his legacy, right? The first crypto president, majority of his wealth now is in crypto. So it's just astounding. And he's tweeting these things out. And so people are learning about this now, and they're learning about why it matters as we have the Elizabeth Warrens of the world and the banks and all of the old money, the old institution, right? Well, I don't want to get into what else people call them, but the old ways of doing things are like grasping at straws to keep their claws into this traditional system. They don't want that money leaving those rails. They don't want to lose control, and it terrifies them. So Elizabeth Warren is still doing her anti-crypto thing, but meanwhile, people are starting to see the light, so to speak, right? They're starting to understand. And it's going to be life-changing. So just 2 more clips on Ethereum, then we'll get into the charts and let you guys know exactly where we're at. But I want to make sure you're informed on everything that's happening here. So Tom Lee, okay, is the bullish catalyst ETH has been waiting for, right? Everybody's been hating on ETH, saying it's dead. Not me, not us on this channel, but a lot of people, right? And that it's not coming back, etc. Back in 2017, he was the guy on CNBC predicting $55,000 Bitcoin when it was trading at 2,000. So it actually shows that you can have the vision. If you have the vision about it, then actually you truly do have that conviction and potentially an understanding fundamentally of why it should be hitting these numbers, right? And why it should get there. Every mainstream investor has spent the past 8 years watching Tom's bold Bitcoin calls play out with 5,000% gains. Now he's launching an ETH treasury with $250 million worth of ETH buys. Wow. And he's back on CNBC declaring ETH is the next Bitcoin. Well, I don't know about the next Bitcoin, but the next Bitcoin-like move potentially, right? The move that shocks the market that nobody saw coming, and Wall Street piles in because they get a yield. They get a yield on this asset, and the ETF is live. I mean, the writing is on the wall, okay? Last what I'm going to play you is just a clip on why he believes it can hit $15,000 a cycle. And then we're going to turn it over to Trip, who's going to have a look at the charts and tell us exactly whether this is possible or not this cycle. Okay, so last clip. Okay, he's talking about this
and its free cash. If we look at Circle and its free cash multiple, which now is like 130 times EBITDA. On an equivalent basis, Ethereum is closer to 15,000. And that makes sense. I think the layer one, as you know, as you get into layer one, you should apply a higher multiple to like sort of theoretical usage, because it's the same reason software companies get higher multiples than retailers, right? The more you're getting away from the customer and the more it's pure signal, you apply higher multiples to that business. And so I think in the near term, our technical strategist Mark Newton thought we could be seeing 4,000 before the end of the month for Ethereum, but that's not where it peaks. He just thinks that that's the first target. And then I think something, if Sean Farrell's math is correct, then I think 10 to 15,000 actually makes sense too.
All right, so there you have it. That's sort of like the fundamental reason why he believes ETH should be hitting 15,000 this cycle and 4,000 this month. Now we're going to take a look at the charts, but yeah, interesting times indeed. What he's saying makes sense on a fundamental level, and I believe it's completely possible. So that's enough of the news, guys. I hope you're doing amazing this Monday afternoon, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and Trip, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Megan. Yeah, we're going to start looking at Bitcoin dominance first, just because as Ethereum moves, we're going to be looking for dominance to be pulling back. So we have posted this setup, or both of these charts, I should say, over the last week in a couple of our videos. So now we're just going to update what the movement has looked like since then. So we were talking about this overbought with bearish divergence over here on the weekly chart. The bearish divergence showing up here on the RSI. And we were expecting that if we lost the point of control support here, that support goes back here to the 2019 to 2021 area of Bitcoin dominance. So as that divergence has been playing out, we were looking for a move down to this yellow trend line down here. So on the left side of the screen, you can see on the 12-hour a little more detail as to what's been happening. So this is now starting to look more like a double top with a confirmed break below support here. It's been quite a rally for altcoins in general as this has been pulling back. Again, back to the right side of the screen, we're starting to get closer down to the bottom of the range on the RSI, getting closer to those oversold conditions like we were looking for. So now that we're getting closer to this trend line, we're expecting that there could be some kind of at least a bounce when we approach this area here. If we were to push right through it, though, then I would expect the altcoins to keep running the way they have been, and ETH should probably be the leader. It'll essentially be the leader of the market, kind of like how Bitcoin is the leader of the whole crypto space. As Ethereum starts gaining, we're going to be using it as more of an indicator to trade our altcoins. So dominance is definitely going to be that inverse correlation effect to that movement for Ethereum, at least in the short term and hopefully in the long term, if this trend line were to break down from where it is now.
Right. And so you're saying that on all the indicators, we're getting very close to oversold for dominance. And if that has a bounce, then could we expect potentially some cool off period for alts, or do you think it will be very brief? Run us through what that would look like.
Yeah, so we're going to show a couple of the setups like BNB and Sol, for example. We'll take a look at those. We're looking for retest entries, right? So as we get a bounce, if we do get a bounce, I should say, on this lower trend line, you're going to be looking for a lot of retest entries on the coins that have already popped off over the past week or so. And that'll just give us better buying opportunities, essentially. So meanwhile, in the short term, it could be, some red in the market, at least for now, or if we do get that bounce. But there's just no guarantee if we're going to get that bounce or if it's going to push through yet. But otherwise, yeah, it's retest entry time to look for. So if you think you've missed most of the moves, then you have another chance to get back in without chasing the big green candles from where it is now.
So there you go. If you missed our lives these past 2 weeks without fail, guys, where we crushed it in the market, we had so many winners. Now you're going to get a chance to do that all over again with us as we get our retest entries. So do not miss these. We'll let you know ahead of time what time it's going to be, because our times have sort of been varying based on the market conditions and things like that. But we'll try to come up with a solid time. I'm thinking somewhere around like noon EST. And we'll try to stick to that so you guys know exactly when to tune in, but we will be crushing it again for those retest entries. James, what's up? We can always count on you. Welcome. Hey, Real Ice Bear Skull. He says, hello, Megan and Trip. Yeah, let's get into this. So let's go over to Bitcoin now and have a look at what's going on.
All right, so the Bitcoin 1 week chart, we've been watching this very long-term yellow trend line for a retest support bounce. So Bitcoin needs to hold the trend line retest. Now, I do want to point out, though, that we're using pretty much the tops of the peaks on the wicks here to draw this trend line. So there is some wiggle room, right? We could pull it down a little bit. It would still be valid. There's just, like I said, we're just calling it wiggle room for now. So that's going to apply to the next chart I'm going to show you. This is Bitcoin currently on the 2-hour chart. So we do have a symmetrical triangle. These could break in either direction. You can get a break to the upside or to the downside. It's a 50-50 chance of a break in either direction. Typically, though, if you're in an uptrend, then it's more of a continuation pattern. So they do have a slightly higher chance of breaking to the upside and continuing the trend. But if we do get that breakdown entry and this does move to the downside, all it really means is that we're looking for a test of this key support level. So if you do get a retest of the support, we'll go back to the weekly chart. That's our lenient measurement if you start to wiggle this around a little bit. So there is a little bit more of a move that we could see down to this yellow trend line, and that would basically end up with our retest of this support. And that support range is between $110 to pretty much $112,000 for Bitcoin. That would be a completely normal thing to see a retest. I know personally for myself, I would like to see a pullback because then I can get a better entry down here.
Yeah.
I don't like chasing breakouts necessarily. If I could choose, I would prefer to buy on support, and it would give the indicators a chance to cool down and come all the way down to those oversold levels like we've seen numerous times before. So I do prefer to buy those oversold conditions, and I like to have some bullish divergence to back it up because that gives you a really good entry. Your risk is really low, and there's a higher chance of you getting a bounce, especially if you get that divergence coming in.
Oh, yeah, I'd agree with you, Trip. We all want that chance to buy in lower and ride the wave again. The question is, will we get it? Sometimes you don't in this bullish environment. But if we do, what would that be looking like for altcoin? Is there sort of like a percentage equation, approximate move you think that would do for altcoins, or would that all just depend on dominance? Like, what would that scenario sort of play out to be? Can we say anything on that?
We can estimate, right? So total 3 would be our estimate at this point. This is a daily chart. So if Bitcoin on the weekly chart back here gives us that pullback, then we're looking at total 3 on the daily. And that could be another pullback down to this support level as well. So we had mentioned it before where it's kind of like an impulse wave where you get a push up, you get another move to the downside, you get another push higher, and then it could come down to retest this level. So again, this would be a significant cool down on some of the altcoins that have already taken off. It really depends whether or not it's going to affect the entire market or just the large caps, and that'll give the mid caps and maybe even the small caps a chance to run as well. So there are some ideas floating around where we don't really know quite yet. We don't have quite that confirmation, but either way, we're looking for a break higher from total 3 or that pullback. There's really only 2 ways to go. So critical support. This is previous. I should call it local support now over here. Let me change that really quick. Local support at about 934 billion, like we were talking about before, and the resistance is still at about 1.13 trillion. But it's also notable that we're above $1 trillion market cap. So that's a strong psychological, strong psychological resistance barrier that we've already broken above for now.
Right. Yeah. So this is really interesting. Will we get that reset? That seems like it would be really great in order to have another like explosive leg up. If we could get the reset on all those indicators by the retest, I mean, that would be the ideal scenario if you're, trader and, you want to go much higher and you don't want to chase those pumps. But so back to that triangle that you showed on Bitcoin.
Yep.
I don't know if you have. Yeah. So how close are we then for this? This is right there at decision time, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, right there. So we're testing the lower trend line of the triangle. Really, you want to see that's local support holding, and that local support is about 116,300 or so. Really, though, the level that seems like it's trying to hold is the rounded off number of about 117,000, which is pretty much where we are now, and that's that lower trend line area of support. So we're starting to see, as we climb higher with Bitcoin, we want to see which levels are being confirmed as support, and we really just can't confirm them as support until we test it a few times. So we're going to be building those support levels as we go. I mean, we're in price discovery now, so we don't have any previous resistance levels from the left side of the chart at all. It's just We've said it before, it's clear skies at this point, right? Price discovery. So we're building these new support levels as we go from here.
I like those clear skies. You can give me more of those. 808 Mimis, what's up? Welcome to the show. Setting a weekly time would be great. Yeah, listening at work. All right. Yeah, so I'm thinking 12 EST, 12 noon Eastern time. Let me know if that's pretty good for a lot of people. That seems to be sort of like, a good time for both time zones. So yeah, let me know 9 a.m. PST if that's good for you guys. Andrew, what's up? Howdy, how you doing? Yeah, we're just about to get into the juice of the episode, which is all right. We know what's happening with Bitcoin. We're waiting for the decision time. We're just trying to see, what is going to happen next. Are we going to have that retest, or are we going to break out from here and just continue with the uptrend, right? So, yeah, we're just waiting on that now. So we got another breakout entry. So we got a breakout or a breakdown possible here. So what is your strategy right now, Trip? Are you sort of on the sidelines? Are you trading? Like what would you do during these sorts of market consolidations?
Well, I've had positions open for a while now. So what I usually do is that if they're in profit, like XRP and Ethereum, those are two of my large caps that I've been trading. So as they climb higher and they confirm a new support level, I'm really just moving my stop losses up for now. I don't mind having to re-enter, so I'm taking it level by level. And if I get stopped out, it's not a big deal. As a leverage trader as well, I do trade some leverage often. So I like to compound my trades that way. So if I make a decent trade to the upside and I get stopped out about 25% from the peak, I don't get very upset about it. It just means I get to look for a new position, and potentially it's going to be a bigger position than before, just because I'm compounding those gains. So I really just take it as like, whatever happens, happens. I'm okay with it. I've already had this plan set out for myself, knowing that there's going to be retraces during the uptrend, and those are going to be buying opportunities and chances to increase your capital by compounding those positions.
Oh yeah, you got to buy the dip in the bull market. That's general strategy, right? But yeah, I hear you. Andrew, he's doing an A-team raid inbound. All right. I like the A-team raid. Watchman, what's up? Hopium Days. Trip got the skills. Yes, he does. Got to be in the got to be hot in that helmet though. Is it hot in that helmet, Trip? Are you surviving?
There's air conditioning inside. Actually, it's built in.
What planet are you on? Are you on the moon? Are we going to the moon?
Beyond the moon. I'm already on Mars. Yeah, I just saw Elon's car fly by. So.
Hey, painting a picture of the future. I think there's this girl. I saw news that there was this girl that was planning to go live on another planet and never come back and just live there. Right. So things are getting pretty wild. Things are getting wild, guys. These next 5 years are going to be shocking, I think. I don't think we can comprehend how our civilization is going to advance with AI, with robotics, with all that. It's just incomprehensible right now. Seriously. Not Jack. Hey, welcome to the show. Any big interviews coming up? Listening to Charles discuss BTC. Oh, yeah, man. I could do like just every week a new interview with Charles, and there's always something enlightening that comes out of there. It's like every single interview is a masterclass. You got to write it down and get the ideas going through your head. I mean, he's just a brilliant guy. So I have an interview with the mayor of New York City coming up. That was pretty cool. Pretty interesting to see politicians on that level and how they're thinking and what they're doing in the background. Sue, we got a lot of others coming up that I can't really talk about much. They're going to be a surprise. But yeah, who do you guys want to see? That's the question. Let me know who you want to see, and I will make it happen. Also, Bo Hines is on the list, who's the U.S. director of, the crypto advisor. Also, President Bukele of El Salvador has been on the list for years, and we just have not made it happen, actually, because the year that we were invited there by the ambassador, they had the gang wars break out, and it was not a good time. Now things are under control, so that seems like it's going to be fantastic. I'd like to interview the president of Argentina, and I got a lot on my list, but I would like to know who your guys' favorite person in this place is. I think somebody said Brad Garlinghouse last time. Let me know and let's make it happen. I'd love to do one with Arthur Hayes. I love Arthur Hayes's vision and overall kind of like views on the market. But yeah, I'm super pumped, guys. I'm super excited because anything is possible. And we're just right there on the verge of all this explosive, exciting activity that we've been waiting for so long, right? Yeah. Definitely want to see a talk with Brad Garlinghouse, says Andrew. Okay. All right. Brad will be on the list then. Let's get Brad on the list. So I'll try to make that happen ASAP. Yeah, just because there's so many cool things happening with XRP. We did an interview with him at Consensus. in Texas not too long ago, about 2 years ago. But we're due for another. We're due for another. So yeah, okay. Where were we? I think we're getting to Ethereum, which this episode is focused on. So yeah, let's do that.
Right. So this was our Ethereum setup from just before July. So we were looking for the support entry on the 0.618 around $2,100. And this was the setup that we had posted in group. We were looking for this possible bear trap below the 0.618 to confirm. So this retest that we came down to see afterwards was retesting to confirm that bear trap. So we had posted the support entry here, and we're looking for a move just to the top of the local range as a decent trade for the trading group, at least in the short term. If we break above this level, though, then yes, we'll discuss the higher targets, and we'll go into that in a moment as well. So this is the before chart, and now we're going to click over to the current chart. And as you can see, we got that awesome bounce right there. And Ethereum is already up 74% from that support entry. So that's a massive move from Ethereum that we were able to catch in the trading group. We're going to go over on another chart to see what Ethereum could look like on the bigger picture. Excuse me. So we are aiming for Tom Lee's target. He was saying about 15,000. So I pulled a fib. This is a trend-based fib. Trend-based fibs have 3 anchor points. And usually once you've established that you're moving higher into an uptrend where you're making higher highs and higher lows, then you can start using trend-based fibs to look for the next moves to the upside. So we're aiming for that $15,000 mark. And the 1.618 is at about 16,000. The 1.272 is just under 10,000. So within that range, I think it's definitely possible we could see a move to these levels on the extreme bullish scenario. Now, don't forget, this is the log scale chart. We have the log button turned on here. As we talked about before in the other streams, that if you don't measure on log scale and you only stick to linear, you could miss out on a lot of the big moves. So we're starting to measure these things on the log scale just to see what the numbers look like. And now we're hearing from people in the space that have been here for a while, like Tom Lee, that are suggesting these big numbers. So we're trying to figure out, like, how is he seeing that? What measurements is he using? What is his technical team using to identify those levels? So these trend-based fibs seem to be pretty accurate so far. It's giving us a decent range between that $10,000 and $15,000 level that we're looking for.
Wow. Okay. So don't fade ETH. There you have it. It is possible that it does hit those numbers this cycle. So these are levels here laid out for you on the 1 week log scale chart. Yeah, the log scale is great to get perspective, right? I really like when we have done this for other coins, and especially the example that we've shown with Cardano, how it's played out in previous cycles, really sort of like puts everything into perspective. So yeah, and so if ETH did make a move of that magnitude, Trip, like what would that mean for the rest of the altcoins?
Well, definitely. So if, I would expect the altcoins, when I go back to the total 3 chart, if Ethereum were to break higher, then yes, I would expect total 3 to probably follow in its footsteps. And then we're looking for bigger moves as a whole for altcoins. We can take a quick measurement here as kind of give us an average price. So if we were to break above this high to the next resistance, that's at least a 20% move on average. And then up to the 1.618, it's about another 45% move from there. From the current levels, though, that level jumps up a little bit, so we're closer to 55%. The measured move, though, for this large ascending triangle that we're in, I'll zoom out a little bit quickly just so you can see this bigger pattern that we're forming here. The bigger pattern up here for the ascending triangle measured move is at about $2 trillion. So we still have a ways to go, in my opinion, until we get to that level. That's about a 74% move. So this isn't a log scale. This is just linear as well. So this is more of a reasonable target. Really what I'm trying to estimate here is what the targets could look like by end of year, for example. So I think this is a reasonable chart to use just to see what it's going to look like over the next 5-6 months or so.
Right. Yeah. And it is interesting. I do think that overall we could get to 8 to 10 trillion potentially for the whole market cap, and that we're working on it, man. We are very bullish as we speak. So these levels are in the works. Let's see. But so you said this is the next 5 to 6 months. If we potentially start to see that sort of super cycle play out that we've spoken about, or just extended cycle, whatever you want to call it, then potentially we could start hitting some of those higher market cap numbers. We've got Andrew. HBAR. Okay, I love people. Lehman Baird from HBAR. Okay, yeah. I did a podcast with their CFO, Betsabe. We've been traveling at different events together. I was on a panel with them in Davos at the WEF, and it was all RWA. It was so amazing. And they had the America House. So, like in Davos in Switzerland, when you do this, the WEF, all of the different houses are there representing different countries. And HBAR was basically the America House, the USA House. So that was pretty cool to see. I mean, that's no small thing. And there were big people coming through. I think Elon Musk's brother went through. I don't know. There was a lot of people hanging out at the HBAR House. And yeah, it was all about RWA and how they're working with institutions. So Andrew here is saying this big news on HBAR. He's been investigating the stablecoin mints that have occurred. One of them was BlackRock. Okay, I'll have to look into that. So far confirmed, but still investigating. I've done podcasts. Yeah, there's a lot of things coming out on HBAR, guys. I'm super bullish on HBAR. I'm just saying, like, in the circles that I have been speaking to, in the institutional space, it's very well, highly thought of. And I think they're going to do big things. So I'm bullish on HBAR for sure. I'm going to have to look into that, Andrew. Trump interview would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, not Jack. If he's going to do it with that guy who has the mullet, what's that guy's name? Does anybody know that guy's name? He's really personable, but man, we need to get more like women interviews with him. We need to get different perspectives. Why not? Why not? Right? Like, now I can get a press pass to the White House. Maybe I should do that. David Sachs. Yeah, David Sachs. That would be a good one. Maybe do like a round table with David Sachs and Bo Hines. That would be cool. Massive Dynamics wants the golden ticket answer. When are you selling everything and at what price? So I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing because that is a very common question. And that's what we all want to know. And we don't have a crystal ball, but we can sort of map out times when, for example, the plan B strategy has always said the best time to buy is 6 months before the halving and to sell is 18 months after the halving. And that's Bitcoin, right? So if we were still on that 4-year cycle, then that could potentially be a date to have in mind. And then what you would do is sign up to the trading group and you'll just be informed every single day and you won't have to care. No, honestly though, I'm serious about that. If you want to get serious about this, you want to invest and you want to know, what we're looking at daily and you want to be updated on that and not sort of like feel around in the dark and guess, do sign up to the group. It is an investment that you will not regret, is less than a cup of coffee per day. Otherwise, then you can just look at different indicators and confluence across those timeframes. So let's say typically Bitcoin, the best time to sell is October, right? Like, what are the indicators saying for that time frame? And when we get there, are we completely overheated? Do we still have time to run? I mean, there's so many nuances to that. And then potentially we could get that like altcoin halo effect after the blow off top, but maybe, just maybe, we're not in that sort of cycle before. And we've discussed this a lot in the group, and there's a lot of details on our theory for this in the group. But Trip, I don't know if you want to add something to that.
Yeah, we can just go over a very basic idea here, just using the RSI. So usually during these bull runs for Bitcoin, we can expect the RSI to get up to about, it's going to add the drawings back as I draw this again. But typically it's around the 90 range for the RSI on the monthly. And at least until that level is hit is when you're expecting a bigger pullback or that cycle to be completed and we start moving into the bear market of the next cycle. So from where we are now, we're only sitting at about 72% on the RSI for Bitcoin on the monthly chart. So if we get up to 90, we still have a ways to go here. So even as a big picture indicator, it looks like we definitely have a lot of room to grow. So we do take it day by day. There's definitely going to be more ideas posted about looking for trend change ideas. So when you're in an uptrend, you're looking for higher highs and higher lows. And if you're looking at the primary trend, that's what's going to affect your long-term movements. So if you start seeing lower highs and lower lows, then that's probably one of your number one signals that the trend is trying to change on Bitcoin. So I'm going to zoom back into the chart here on the 3-day. Just to look at Bitcoin again on this parabola. It's been steadily making these higher highs and higher lows as we go all the way up so far. Nothing has changed about the trend and it's completely intact. So to try to pick out a day now of when it's time to sell everything, I think it's way too soon to start doing that. It's not like we have a crystal ball that's saying this day at this price is when everything is done, right? It's more like you have to wait until you see those signals that are saying, okay, the buyers are exhausted and the sellers are starting to amp up and they're starting to take profit. So when you see those signals, that's when you kind of want to say, all right, well, if everybody else is selling at this level, I should take my profits too. And then again, you got to take it as like a trade. If you're thinking like a trader, then just assume that there's always another opportunity coming. Maybe you could be shorting the market to make your profits as well. So we're going to be doing a lot of that during the bear market, just the same with our leverage group. Leverage group is going to be posting longs and shorts, so it really doesn't matter what the market is doing. We're making money in both directions either way. So it's kind of a difficult thing for a lot of retail traders to think of, how do you make money in a downtrend? And that's exactly what we're here for. It doesn't matter if the market's going up or down, we're still going to be making profits on a daily and weekly basis.
Yeah. And if you're an investor, there's been a lot of questions about, well, are you going to sell all of your altcoins this cycle and just wait for them to buy back into the next cycle? That's a tough question. I think I'll be selling a lot of a big percentage when we get like overheated on those indicators, like Tripp says, but there are some that I will keep a certain percentage for the long haul, because don't forget to, and especially Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin, I just have one wallet where I'm just stacking as much as humanly possible and not touching it, right? Now that you can use that as leverage, as a loan, and let your asset grow and use it to get money tax-free to invest in other things. I mean, there are so many things. So that'll be a whole nother video. But I think that is another question for, I think we should do a whole strategy video, Tripp, on investing and trading. Maybe if you guys would like to see that, let us know, more or less what we're looking at for the cycles. But here are some of the cycles to watch for. If you're new here, some of the indicators, for when things are really overheated. When you want to take a screenshot of your profile and send it to everybody you know, and you start calling your friends and your parents and saying, hey, look at how many gains I've made. That's one. 2, when the Coinbase app gets to the top rankings in the App Store. 3, for YouTubers, when the YouTube views start picking up pretty high. And Google search trends and, fear and greed is pegged at 80, 90 for an extended period of time. There's so many different ways that you can start to gauge, like, okay, now I should probably start taking some profit. But yeah, so we'll be keeping you updated on that in the group 24/7. So you won't have to worry about guessing when to do that, because we will be letting you know ahead of time, hey, it's looking overheated. Things are overextended. It might be time to take profits, etc. So yeah.
Right. There's also like an easy guide too, that when most everything is up 10x from the bottom, that's another good reason to start taking profits as well, right? You might not be able to catch the exact peak at the very top. You might not get in at the exact very bottom, but you're just trying to do at least a 3 to 4, maybe 3 to 7x per bull run. And then you have to think of the next bull run and then the next one after that. So if you're doing 5x each bull run and you're starting with $1,000, I mean, that turns into a massive amount of money when you're talking 2 to 3 or 4 bull runs down the road. So you don't want to stay too short-sighted as far as that goes. You want to think of long-term compounding. So if you make $100,000 on this bull run and you take all of your profits and you can wait until we get back down to these levels again, now you have $100,000 to use in your trades instead of just 1,000. So now you're going to 3 to 4x to 7, maybe 10x that 100,000, maybe get to the $1 million goal that most people are looking for. And then even still, once you get to your $1 million target, you want to hold that down here. We're in USDT, I should say, not holding Bitcoin. And then now you have $1 million on the next bottom to use for the next season. So that's where it's like, if you have a 10-year goal, then you could be, a multi-millionaire essentially by the end of that 10-year cycle.
Right. And if you guys haven't watched this, I did do a podcast with Anthony Scaramucci. He has a lot of interesting investment advice and, wealth advice and things like that. And one of the things he says is that a dead investor is the best investor. Because basically he made an account for his son and forgot about it for I don't know how many years, like 10, 15 years, and came back and it was just exponentially higher than where he had left it. And just think about all the emotions that would have taken over within those years, right? Or all the people that say, oh my God, I bought Bitcoin at $100 and I sold it at 1,000. It's like, well, why are you upset about that? I mean, that was probably the right thing to do at the time, right? I mean, charts wise. And so it just takes the guesswork out of it. So that's why I'm saying have a strategy for your long-term backs, have a strategy for trading bags, and we will help you out with all of that. So no need to worry. But anyway, I think we can get now to the altcoin segment. Let's do it.
Yeah, we got BNB up here. So BNB's been making moves. We're just below the previous all-time high. It looks like the all-time high here is at about 793.86, 793.86. So we're looking for a retest of this support level based off this candle body close back here from December of 2024. So now that we're breaking above this level, if you get that retest down here, then you're looking for a move up to the measured move on the 1 day, and that could be about $1,000 BNB. So from there, we'll take a quick measurement on the move itself. If you get that retest, we're looking for another 37 to 38% on BNB. Now, these are large caps, so large caps aren't going to have the same percentage gain as your mid caps to the small caps. So typically what happens during a bull run is that the large caps take off first. People make a big chunk of money on those large caps alone, and then they still have time to cycle them back into your mid caps and do this same move, maybe even twice to 3 times as big, and then you do it again on the small caps. So you can run your small caps up potentially another 10x. But it usually starts with the large caps, and then it goes to the mid caps, then down to your small cap altcoins. So right now we're just watching these large caps play out and do their thing first, and then we're expecting movements on most of the mid caps to follow afterwards.
Right. Yeah. The flow of the money in crypto. Right. I think that's interesting insight to share with people if you're new here, or just to remind you, right, how the flow of money usually goes. So also let me know if there are any Theta people in the house. I found an interesting tweet from Mitch Liu. If you're a Theta person, let me know. Graham, you made it. What's up from New Zealand? Welcome, welcome. We're just in the altcoin segment. We may have time for a few requests. So we've got 2 more charts. We've got Sol and actually 1 more chart, right? We've got Sol. So let us know if you have any requests, and let me know if you're a Theta person, because I got to show you something. And back to you, Trip. Think you're muted.
Yeah, we covered Ethereum at the beginning, so we're going to cover these last 2 at the end, BNB and Solana. So Solana, same situation as BNB. We're looking for a retest after this breakout. We had decent volume come in on the break of this resistance here. So you're looking for a retest entry if it happens. And then the measured move, really just looking for a move up to the top of the range around 295, 300. So for the short term, this is a 12-hour chart, but this is still short term because we're considering it within a range, and we're not talking about price discovery levels yet. But if this range was to break above at the $300 level, then we're looking for a move up to these higher targets. The 1.272 is at about 350. The 1.618 is at 419, basically 420. And then the 2.0 at almost $500 for Solana. So I think there's definitely a long ways to go here still. We just need to see if Bitcoin's going to be able to hold that support level, assuming that parabola keeps continuing on its trajectory. And then Ethereum is also going to be another one to watch too. So there is kind of a Solana versus Ethereum thing going on, but they do essentially run together at the same time. Solana has been lagging a little bit, but that's usually how it works. It goes from Bitcoin first, then Ethereum, then the large caps, mid caps, small caps. So Solana would be the next large cap to go after Ethereum, in my opinion, to see if we get that run up coming for Sol.
Yeah. So with that, we have ended the charts that we had planned. I think maybe we can have a quick look at HBAR. I know we have a lot of HBAR people here, but on a side note, all of these 18 people, I know you're coming from Austin's YouTube channel. Let us know what time he's usually on. We can check his channel out, and maybe we can do a live together, have Austin on the show and vice versa. I mean, that'd be cool. We'd love to do collaborations, and it's fun to get different perspectives and just a great roundtable chat going. So yeah, let us know. Let us know. Go Cardano. Yeah, Cardano. Oh my God. I think Cardano is going to boom this cycle, man. It's like, I really am excited for that. So he's on at 10 a.m. PST, says Mimi. So that is 1 p.m. Okay. So our time of noon would be like potentially back to back, right? 12 noon Eastern time. So that would work out. Then we wouldn't conflict. HBAR. Okay, let's have a look at HBAR then. What do we got here, Trip?
Right, so just zooming out to the weekly chart here for HBAR, we're just looking at the retrace that we had down to the 0.618 here. It did poke below it a little bit, but now we've got this double bottom that's been playing out ever since. And we're going to zoom in now to the daily chart to see what this looks like. Excuse me. So now that we've got this bigger picture zoomed in, now we're looking at the 0.272 to act as local support. So we've already had a couple of bounces on here at the 272, and that's at about 26 cents for HBAR. Really, we're just looking for this support to hold, and then we can test the highs at about 33 cents. Using the weekly chart, it kind of distorts the candles a little bit. So on the daily, we actually get a more accurate resistance closer to about 37 cents. So we need to see a move to up to these levels and then break these levels so we can talk about even higher targets from there. So I'm going to quickly erase this chart, and then we're going to look at the extensions for HBAR, at least in this local range. So we'll pull it down to there. And now we're actually seeing that the 0.618 is locally a resistance. So I'd like to see that level break first. Then we're going up to the 40-cent mark at the very peak of the high. This is from back here in January of 2025. And again, once that level breaks, we're looking for more moves to the upside with these fib extensions. So the 272 is at 47 cents. The 1.618 is at 57 cents. The 2.0 at 67 cents. So HBAR's been doing pretty good. I think we had an entry down here. This was the original setup. Just got to turn this magnifying glass off. So from the breakout of this level, we're already up from the trading group about 87 to 88, 89% or so. So it does need a little work to do. There's a good chance we see a cool down level at this the 0.618 fib level. If we look at the indicators, we're already overbought on the daily. So there's a good idea that it could cool down a little bit from these overbought conditions. So that's something you need to pay attention to for HBAR, just at least in the short term, to see if we get that cool down. But otherwise, yeah, your key resistance level is at about 29 to 30 cents that needs to break in order to achieve these higher price targets.
All right, so let's see if we get a better entry on HBAR. Man, I couldn't be more bullish. I mean, really came on my radar in a big way this cycle, like I said, after speaking on the panel with him in Davos and meeting Lehman Baird and the team and doing a podcast with him. Man, whoa. And also, I don't know if you guys caught it, but Kevin O'Leary on my podcast said that HBAR was his most undervalued altcoin. And of course that he's talking his book because he's heavily invested. But yeah, so that just kind of tells me like TradFi is interested. They're doing a lot in institutional space. It says Jax here says that Lloyd's, did I see the Lloyd's banking Hedera news? No, I did not see that. So I'm going to have to go and dig out all the HBAR news and come back to you guys tomorrow with what I found, because it's just super bullish. RWA will boom, and they're positioned to like take over in the institutional space. So, I mean, wow, that's super exciting, guys. And now we have our entries mapped out here. Do you have a plan for if we get that flush out or the reset and we get a retest entry on a lot of these coins? Have a plan for when that happens. Don't like, you know, stay there and get caught off guard or freeze up. Like, have a plan, guys, because man, we have such an opportunity right now. And also have a plan for if it just continues to rage on, right? Like, so just all I can say is keep tuning into these lives. You are going to crush it. Sign up to the trading group if you really want to take it serious and take it to the next level. And the link's in the description below. I'm just so happy to be here with you guys on a Monday, ready to crush it for another week. Michelle, thank you for all the hard work. Appreciate the updates. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for your support. We just decided to do this initiative because, like I said, Trip and I have these calls daily, planning for the group, trying to map out where Bitcoin is, where the altcoins are. And we just decided to let you in on that and share that information to give as much value as possible. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. Trip, you have any last thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, it's we're always in the same scenario. It seems like we're always waiting for Bitcoin to decide. So if we go back to that Bitcoin chart again, just on the 2-hour chart, we're starting to get a bit of a local bounce here, but it's not a lot of strength quite yet. So this is something definitely to pay attention to, is to see which direction this triangle is going to break. And that's going to determine whether or not we do maybe some short-term short trades with our leverage in our leverage group, or if we're looking for a breakout entry above the triangle if we get that break higher.
Right. So screenshot this, screenshot it, put it up somewhere, print it out. I don't know. Get serious, guys. Get a whiteboard, map out these levels, and let's freaking go. Let's crush it this week. Let's stay laser focused. Let's keep working toward our goals. Man, just off the grid. That's all I'm saying. Next 4 to 6 months. This is it. This is all we've been working for. So Trip, I want to thank you again for being on. Thank you to all the A team. Do you ever get interviewed other crypto channels? I think women in crypto would be a popular topic. Yeah, I'd love to do, collaborations. Yeah, I haven't been doing a lot on YouTube. I've been mainly focusing on my podcast and my tour and kind of like in-person talks. But yeah, I'd love to do more of that. I know Wendy O, she's a colleague in the space and a lot of them. So yeah, maybe we get something going, guys. Let me know who's your favorite YouTuber and let's do some collabs, man. But anyway, thank you for all your positive vibes, because that's what this channel is first and foremost, is positive vibes, it's good energy. It's a space where we want to push you to grow and get outside your comfort zone and, take a risk, take a leap, and dive in head first, because these skills will literally change your life. And on that, guys, I'm out. Tuning out. Happy Monday, everyone from all over the world, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.